Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear volunteers. You are welcome to this volunteer training program. This is organized by 3D Africa Youth Organization. I am Odison Olale Pandela, the Executive Director of 3D Africa Youth Organization. The volunteer training program is meant to acquaint you with how we want you to be, what we want you to become as a volunteer, and of course, some of the things we need you to go into, we want you to develop and the likes. Now, the personal development is key for all volunteers, and of course, in this lesson, we are going to be discussing the personal development, why it is important for you as a volunteer, as a young African youth, and of course, what your personal development will do to you, this organization, and to your community. So in this lesson, we want to look at definition of personal development vis-a-vis professional development, why personal development is important for you as a person, and then what are some of the things you can do to ensure you keep on going. The essence of volunteering, is that you become better, more than what you want to do, more than the volunteering that you want to do. We're also interested that you develop as a person. Because we understand that volunteering is a tool for development, personal and professional development. Volunteering is a tool for personal and professional development. So in your stay in 3D Africa Organization, we want you to develop personally and professionally. And of course, we want you to use this platform to build yourself. We want you to use this platform to build yourself. So what do we mean by personal development? What do we mean by personal development? Personal development covers activities that improve awareness and identity, develop talent and potentials, build human capital, and contribute to the realization of dreams and aspirations. Now, all activities that you do that is creating an awareness of yourself, we call it self-awareness. You are able to develop an awareness about yourself. You are able to develop your talent and potential. In fact, developing talent and potential is a major reason for volunteering. In any organizations that you are, and then there is no room for personal development, and it's not giving you a leverage platform to develop your talent and potentials. You're not supposed to be there. That was one of the purpose of volunteering and working as a volunteer in an organization. So engaging in personal development will develop your talents and potentials. It will build your human capital, and then of course it will contribute to realization of your dreams. Personal development is quite different from professional development. Professional development means you want to learn in order to earn or to maintain your professional credentials, such as academic degree, formal coursework, conferences, and informal learning opportunities suited in practice. Volunteering also provide professional development. For instance, if you're into human relations, human resources development, and of course, and you volunteer as a human resources manager of an organization, it gives you a leverage platforms to see how you can manage human capital development of that organization. And of course, with that experience that you have, you could add it to your professional credentials that, oh, so time I have I have um, volunteer as a human relations officer of this particular organization. Of course, it gives you a leveraging platform. You can earn because of the additional works you do. You can earn more. You can also maintain your professional credentials. But we're not talking about professional development today. We are looking at the personal development because we believe that for you to be able to develop your talent and potential, you need a platform. And then most often than not, paid work, for instance, if you are employed in a particular place, might not necessarily guarantee that. Why? Because might not necessarily guarantee that. Why? Because you are paid to do some certain things, and then of course, whether you develop or not might not really concern your what's it called, your organization. But in a case where you need to develop your talent and potentials, your human capital that will make you fit for the professional work, volunteering is important. Then more beyond that, personal development is key to scaling up, becoming a better version of yourself, and then of course, giving back to the society. So as volunteers, we provide this platform provide you with the ability to develop yourself. And of course, as a volunteer, you need to take cognizance of that. Very, very important. You are in the organization now to develop yourself, to build your potential. So every opportunity to learn, every opportunity to become better personally, you must do that. So again, personal development improves all activities. This volunteering is an activity for personal development. Volunteering is an activity for personal development. So see it as a leverage platform to develop yourself. Now, a lot of people do ask that, how would volunteering develop themselves, develop their what's it called, their human capital development. The importance of volunteering cannot be overemphasized. Let me share my experience with you. I remember when I started the journey of volunteering. I started when I was in school. I volunteered to be a member of an organization in school then. Then later on, because I was dedicated, I was committed, the CEO of the organization, then the president of the organization, Ali Femi Oya, I can remember very vividly, took me as one of his own brother. He was developing me, give me books to read. So he was developing my leadership capacity. He was giving me a lot of assignments. Later on, they put me as secretary, deputy secretary. Then after becoming deputy, in that deputy secretary, I needed to learn. I knew I needed to learn communication skill. I knew I needed to learn the writing skill. So I decided to start learning all of those ones. Then for me, learning that secretariat duties and skills that involves helped me a lot. So later on, I was moved to being the president of the organization. Then I sat for like 2 tenures. I developed leadership skill. I knew what it takes to impact the school community. We did a lot of impact projects. We got awarded for a lot of things. And then much more important than the glamour that is there, I developed strong leadership skills. I was able to persuade people to join the organization and a whole lot of things. By the time I left school, I was a complete different person. So when you compare me with people that I left we were mates, I was far ahead of them. I was ready for the job board. I had developed nothing less than about 15 to 20 skills, because during that time too, because I knew I needed to be effective in whatever I'm doing, despite the fact that I was volunteering, I was reading a lot of books, taking a lot of courses. meeting with a lot of mentors, and then of course I was developing myself to be able to suit whatever tasks that have been given to me. I can say that those periods shaped my life entirely. And then of course I volunteered again. I volunteered again to for different projects. The one that stood out more is I Train Heroes, organized by Mugi Global Leadership School. And then I went out to train over 300 young people in my local community. The joy that thing brought then made me to understand that when we decide to impact our local community, the world become a better place. And then of course, from my interaction when I volunteered in school, I knew Africa needed a solution and young people should rise up to that solution. All of this experience, and then of course, talking to my fellow volunteers and culminating to creating through the Africa Youth Organization. So from there, I was able to develop presentation skill, mobilizing people to do a lot of works and the like. So those opportunities gave me the platform to build on developing myself. So this platform is giving you opportunity to build yourself personally. Of course, there are a lot of skills that will be required for you to discharge your duty as a volunteer. There are a lot of strategies, there are a lot of knowledge, expertise that you need. That is why the place of personal development is important in volunteering. And then, of course, when you are developing yourself, although you are contributing to the organization, but you are building yourself more, and then you are preparing yourself for the bigger task, the greater platform, the better opportunities that will come your way very soon. And then, of course, like I said, this organization gives you a platform to develop yourself. So when we say personal development as volunteer, why do you need to develop yourself? Number one, personal development will help you expand your perspective. It will help you expand your perspective through continuous learning. So your view about the world. Like let me give an instance. I could remember we recruited one young man from Ghana again. I'm trying to remember his name now. No, from Sierra Leone. Yes, he was Sierra Leone. He didn't know a lot about Africa. And then, of course, he didn't know a lot about how community impacts can help you. When he joined the organization, he told me that he started reading that opportunity. That opportunity of joining the organization gave him opportunity to was researching a lot of things, African challenges. And so when we started a particular project, engage the community, he read a lot. He read about African youth, their problems, their challenges, and it did. Because of that, he gained a wide view of Africa, his community, the challenges, African youth, and all of that. And then, of course, he built perspectives that are beyond what an ordinary average young Africans will do. So this platform will give you opportunity to, whether you are volunteering for projects, whether you are volunteering for the organization or programs, and it gives you opportunity to expand your perspective about yourself, because you see yourself more as a global person, as an African person. In fact, one of our directors, told me specifically that the volunteering as a director, even in leadership position, helped him a lot, even in his personal and professional life. Before, as a writer, as a public speaker, he was restricted to Nigeria, and there's a particular niche, educators alone. But because he is part of the organization now, he started thinking in the way of Africa, and then through that he was able to move his whatever skill and his craft to organizing programs in East Africa, West Africa, and the like. So through continuous learning, personal development, developing yourself will expand your perspective. So we want you as volunteers of any kind to expand your perspective through continuous learning. There is a lot to learn in the organization. There is a lot to learn about your community. There is a lot to learn about how you can transform Africa. There is a lot to learn about your skill. There is a lot to learn about becoming better. There is a lot to learn about impact. There is a lot to learn about African youth, African challenges, and how you can make change in the world. There is a lot to learn about how you can become a better person. So personal development expands your perspective through continuous learning. Personal development will improve your personal strength. Like I said, let me picture myself as a volunteer. I'm coming to 3D Africa organization as a volunteer. Let's say I'm joining the program team, for instance. And then before, I did not know how to write a proposal. I did not know how to negotiate with people. I did not know how to seek for sponsors, for partners. I did not know how to organize programs, to mobilize people, etc. Because I'm this organization and as a program team member, these are some of the things you have to do. Now, I will need to improve myself, improve my communication skill, my writing skill, my technical skill, my collaborative skill, and the likes. While doing that, while improving myself, I am improving my personal strength. I become more, I have a lot of more strengths than others. I have a lot of more personal strength. And then, of course, because it requires me working with people to achieve common goals, I also want to improve my people skill, collaborative skill, project-based skill, etc. So personal development improves your personal strength. Then it grows your confidence. It grows your confidence. You become more confident in whatever thing that they give you to do. We've seen cases where we have a lot of volunteers. They do this, they won't do. They are not confident in their own ability. I don't think I can do this. But because you have seen yourself in this platform that you want to give your best to the organization, you want to help your organization grow, you are striving daily to improve yourself. And then, of course, as you improve yourself, your confidence go. And then they say, okay, we are doing this. Oh, let me do this. I think I have learned something about this. Oh, let me do this. And then when you do it, you go more confidence. And then when you leave, even outside the organization, in your workplace, in your school, or wherever you find yourself, because you are familiar with that kind of thing before, you say, okay, I can do this. And then when you do it for your organization, they say, oh, wow, you have done well. And then they compensate you for that, probably promotion, probably you gain more recognition and relevance, etc. So when you develop your pet personally, you go more confidence in your own ability, in your own capacity, in your competence in doing things. So you grow your confidence. Personal development helps you to grow your passion. It improves your sense of direction. This is very apt. Personal development improves your sense of direction, because as you gain more perspective about what you want to do with your life, let me tell you the truth. One of the things volunteering will do for you, it gives you a clearer picture of how you intend to better your society. Like I've said, one of the criteria we look in for volunteers is, do they have a passion to make their community better, to make the society better? Then if they have, this organization provide you with opportunity of expanding your perspective. And if you expand your perspective, things become more clearer. You begin to gain a sense of direction of where you want to impact your generation. It helped me a lot. When I was volunteering for a lot of these things, it became clearer that I needed my niche, my sense of direction, where I'm going to is helping 10 million African youths, inspiring them, motivating them to become agents of change. The sense of direction became clearer because I began to see from different volunteering projects I've done, from different organizations I've volunteered for, the need the need became much more the need became much more intense in my heart. And then of course I begin to get understanding of where I'm going to. That's what's from 3D Africa organization. So it improves your sense of direction, it improves your focus, and then more importantly, personal development helps in building your human capital. When we talk about a capital, we talk about relationship is a capital, time is a capital, skill is a capital, money is a capital, but more importantly, the capital that people neglect more is the human capital. You are a capital. And then when you take all efforts to develop yourself personally, then your human capital becomes so valuable that people tend to look for you everywhere. And like I do tell my volunteers, if you are loaded, you will be needed. If you are loaded, you will be needed. Everybody will look for you. And if you are loaded, you cannot be stranded. If you are loaded, you cannot be stranded. So this is apt. And then human capital development as a volunteer, develop your skill, develop your potentials, develop your talent, developing your leadership skill, your communicative skill, developing your person, developing your personality, your attitude, your behavior. These are key. They prepare you for the future. Even if you are in a workplace now, they makes you stronger, they make you better. Even if you are a leader, they makes you much more effective. So personal development is key. And in this volunteering space will help you because there are a lot of tasks to do. There are a lot of people to meet with. There are a lot of things to achieve together. So taking yourself on a journey of personal development is key to your success as a volunteer. And then your success as a volunteer helps you to be better as whenever you find yourself. So personal development is quite important for you as a volunteer. Personal development is important for you as a volunteer. So in 3D Africa, we believe that you developing yourself as a volunteer will go a long way, not only for our organization, but for you. Of course, our one of our key objective is to see that all volunteers do not remain the same when they want to leave the organization. You are better off it. Like I said the other time, there is no point in volunteering, and at the end of the whole, probably you spend 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. At the end of all the process, you are not better. At the end of all the process, you are not better. At the end of everything, you are not, you remain the same, or you are just like that. So it is important and imperative as young people to ensure that you are developing. And then of course, it will not our organization, it will help you. We need as an organization, we value development a lot. We value growth. In fact, if you check our core values, innovations, influence, and impact, and we understand that before you make impact, you must have developed yourself to some certain level. So it is quite important that you do that. So I will share with you before I go. I will share with you two things now that will really help. Number one, I will share with you the objectives of personal development, and then personal development goals. How do you set personal development goals? Now, let's talk about objectives of personal development. Now, our objective for you to develop yourself is number one. You have our objective is that we want to develop oneself as a complete and harmonious being balanced and decision-skilled to all dimensions of human personality. We want you to become a complete human being. A complete human being is you are effective in all areas of life. You have developed yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, professionally, financially, and in all areas of life. So we want our organization members, our volunteers to stand out in all aspects of life. Wherever they find themselves, we can associate with them that, oh, this is a volunteer, a member of the Africa organization. So when you take the journey of developing yourself, of personal development, you become a whole person. A lot of people are not balanced. They might be good with leadership, but they're not good with personal. They might be good with finances, they're not good with social. So the aspect of personal development involves all areas of life, developing yourself in all areas of life, professionally, financially. So financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, in all areas. So you are developing yourself. So that's the objective, and then that's our objective for you. That during your course of staying in the organization, probably you are staying 10 years, and like you are a complete human being. We want you to become a complete human being. That's why we want you to take your personal development serious. Number two, now we want you to develop the ability to work among people with greater cooperation, consideration, and compassion. And at the same time, you are rational, and you are rational such that people don't take your advantage of you. So in your personal development, that's emotional now and relationship wise. In your personal development, our focus is that you are able to work with any kind of person. Voluntarily will give you this platform. This sort of organization will give you, because you are working with people from different parts of Africa. You are working with people with different attitudes, different backgrounds, different history, different culture, and different ways of living, and then of course even characters. So one of your heights of personal development is you are able. One of the heights of personal development is you are able to develop, you are able to work with people. It's one of the things that is a measure for your personal development. It shows that you are really growing, you are really developing. And then of course, you are developing yourself not as employee offering, but you are serving as a dynamic and enterprising leader with clear vision. You are not only an employee or a volunteer, you are also taking leadership position. Now you are also doing like something called 360-degree leader. You lead all around. Even as a volunteer, whether you hold a position or not, even as a volunteer, you are still leading. You are coming up with visions. You are leading the vision of the organization, and then of course you are making things to happen. You are not only offering service as an employee, as a volunteer. Okay, you ask me to do this, I'm doing this alone, and this is what I'm doing it alone. So you are saying, oh, I'm taking the lead in ensuring that I make this organization better. They are a result of personal development, because your perspective is have grown beyond, oh, I'm just volunteering to get the certificate, I'm just volunteering to add to my CV. Your perspective has changed to making sustainable impact. And of course, you have gained an understanding that wherever you find yourself, make a lasting impact. And of course, that impact will translate to another impact when you are no more there. So you are not offering yourself as a volunteer alone. You are also leading the organization to greater heights. These are the objectives of personal development, and these are our objectives for you. And then you have developed yourself mentally. Both left and right hemisphere have developed. That means you are engaging in activities that improve your mental faculty, trainings, programs, activities, etc. And then you have developed your
professional skills to the fullest. Like I do tell, uh, um, like I do tell um, my my volunteers and my leaders that develop as much skills as possible. In your stay within this organization, set up goals, set up goals, set up goals, set up goals. Okay, this is my team. Even beyond your team, uh, I need to develop communicative skills, I need collaboration skills, planning skills, reporting skill, and all those things. You need them. They might be 10, they might be 12. Okay, in the space of 1 year, I will develop them one after the other. Develop as much skill as possible. It will not mean make you only effective in your personal living, your personal life will be effective, and then for you are preparing yourself for the future. Because you know you can have your organization, or you are in a big organization that requires all these things for you to thrive. So develop yourself, build your skill through personal development. Make effort to develop yourself. It is quite important. Now, as I begin to round up this session, I want you
to also know that for you
to be able to achieve, for you to be able to achieve this much more, you need to set personal development goals. It is very important that you set development goals that will help you. Like I do tell people, without goals, there can't be growth. It is with goals that you grow. And because when you set goals, you create a mechanism, a drive for you to go. When you set goals, you create a drive to go. And then when you go and take action, you go. And then when you go, you glow. So it is important that you set clear goals for your personal development, even as a volunteer for 3D Africa organization. Normally, we don't see our people as volunteers. We see you as members. You are all members. You are all part of this great vision. So we want you to go, and then of course setting personal development goals are quite important for you. Now, let me share with you two things. Number one, I will talk about personal development planning. I will also talk about personal development goals. Let's quickly talk about personal development goals before we go to planning and life. So, for personal development goals, you as volunteers, as young people, you need to set personal development goals. Personal development goals are goals that you set to achieve. You are creating a mechanism that, oh, so type out. These are the things I want to achieve in my personal development. Now you have seen the reason why you need to develop yourself. So the next thing is for you to develop goals towards that. How, okay, this is how I'm going to develop myself. Then how do I develop myself? What is the time frame? Of course, your personal development goal should have a time frame. Okay, between so time. Let me give you an instance again. Let me say, as a person, I joined the program team. That's for instance, and and I want to develop myself. I will look at in what areas first of all, I want to evaluate myself, for me to be able to fit in to this team. What are my strengths and my weaknesses now? You have to evaluate yourself. Personal development evaluation. Evaluate yourself. Okay. As a person now, my strengths are, I'm good with organizing things together, but I don't know how to mobilize people for this. I am good with relating with people, but I don't know how to persuade them to do a lot of things. I'm not good with managing my time and the likes to be able to achieve. I'm not good with setting deadlines. I'm not good with writing proposals, writing letters, creating mechanism for people to work in and so on and that. I'm not good with reporting. I'm not good with reporting. I have to report my works and like so. These are some of my weaknesses and my strengths. So you identify your weakness and your strength, and of course you consolidate on your strength, and then you want to improve on your weakness. So these are areas you are going to set goals with. So I am volunteering for the organization for the next 12 months or 2 years. If you are volunteering as a team member, you are volunteering for projects. Our volunteering stay here is just 1 or 2 months. So you want to look at that and okay, now you now set goals. In my course of stay within the organization, I want to develop 5 skills, or let me say 6 skills. And then apart from that, there are other things I want to develop. But let me just, it can be skills, it can be attitude, your attitude to work. I want to improve my attitude to work and the like. So let me use skills. Okay, I want to develop these social skills. Let me say I want to develop my communicative skill, my relationship skill, my reporting skill, my writing skill. So I've listed those skills. I will not say, oh, in between May to June, or between June to July, for instance, I want to develop my communicative skill. I want to be able to communicate better in a clearer times. Then you look at, okay, this is the time frame I want to develop these skills. What are some of the things I'm going to do to be able to develop these skills? I want to read more on communicative skills. I want to attend trainings. I want to read online. I want to watch YouTube videos on communicative skills. And then I want to tell my boss in the program team, my director, to give me opportunity to communicate with my members and then see how they are able to get my information. I want to get feedbacks on how I've been able to communicate well. So you develop all those things and then you set goals for them. By the end of this week, I would have achieved this. And then of course, you set deadlines. Then how do you measure your goals? So you set clear goals. And these are examples of goals that you can say. Okay, you can say, okay, I'm in my past experience relating with people, there are some bad habits I have. I want to remove all of them in my course of stay within this organization. That could be your own. I want to be able to learn how to cope with stress. I've done an organization before, but because um, I could not cope with stress, I opted out. But this time around, I want to be able to cope with stress, ability to manage my time very well, ability to manage different activities I've been doing, and a lot. So these are examples of personal development goals. So as you are entering to this organization, set personal development goals. Set personal development goals. It is very, very important. So you set those goals clear. Let your goal be specific. Let them be measurable. Let us be action oriented. Let them be replicable, and let them be time bound. These are smart goals. They are smart goals. They are smart. Set smart goals, and then of course, after setting goals, another key areas you need to look at is different aspects of personal development. You need to look at your personal development planning. You need to plan your personal development after setting clear goals. That these are what you want to achieve. Make sure you plan your personal development. If you don't plan, you won't achieve anything at all. Of course, goals are good, but goals require effective and adequate planning for them to materialize. So it is important for you to set clear goals, and much more importantly, plan your personal development. So there are ways that you can plan your personal development. Of course, may I say that in your personal development journey, a lot of things are involved, a lot of activities are involved. Like you said, it involves activities. It could be talking to people. Within the organization, you have directors that could keep you. some of the things you do. If you allow them to mentor you, you allow for mentorship within the organization. If you get a mentor, in fact, if you go to the extra mile of getting a paid training, train yourself, go for training. Although one of the things we do here is also we organize a lot of training for people. But beyond our own training, you can also go for training, go for coaching sessions, attend programs, read books, go online to do research, read about biographies of people, about volunteers, watch YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, listen to a lot of things like that. So those are activities that culminate into your personal development. Engage people, and then take a lot of responsibilities to improve yourself. These are activities. So I have listed a lot of things now. Read books, watch videos, listen to audios, go for training, attend mentorship programs, get people to mentor you, and a whole lot of things that you can do. And then take responsibility for it to improve. So these are the personal development activities that can help you a lot. Okay? Now, but these activities must be well planned. Now, I have mentioned three things in your personal development. Number one is setting goals. The number two is identifying activities that will help you to develop yourself. Number three is planning. So, in your planning, number one, ensure that you define and track your personal development goals. Define them, let your goals be clear, and set mechanisms for you to track those goals. That's your plan. I'm giving you a 7-day planning, what's it called? Template. Then after you plan, it starts immediately. Number two, define your daily tasks and complete them. So if there are tasks, there are activities, for instance, after I define my goals, let me say I want to start with communication skills, and then I'm specifically starting with writing skills. What are the activities? Okay, I want to read about 3-4 proposals of different projects and programs because I want to be able to learn how to write projects. So maybe that would be what I would do for the first week. Probably I will make sure that every single day I read a particular proposal and I dissect it. I cross-check with a lot of things. So that would be my task. And of course, I want to replicate my for the following week, and I think I want to replicate this proposal task by writing my own. If let's say I choose different programs. Maybe it can be fundraising program, it can be conference, it can be workshop. So I choose them like that. So the following week, after I've studied them and look at them and ask people questions, a lot of things like that, I want to say, okay, let me try my own as well. I want to write for a conference. I started doing my own. So create a daily task for yourself in those skills, in those activities. It might not be skills, it might be habits. Okay, I want to stop this habit. What are the daily things I will do? I will make sure that I do a lot of affirmations. I'll make sure that I evaluate myself every single day and see whether I've behaved that way again. And then see how I'm going to start. I want people to watch me and like so. Make sure you set daily tasks. Number three, you can look at bad habits that will not make you achieve that. Dealing with them, develop new habits, maybe time management that will to achieve that, and a whole lot of things that you can do when you are planning. And then it could be a 7-day plan. It's like this, like what I did here is a 7-day plan that for personal development. Like I say, day one on Monday, I want to set my personal goal on Monday. Or Sundays, I'll be setting my personal goal every Sunday. And then number two, all the tasks on Monday, all the tasks I want to do, I will complete 70% of them. And then I will work on my habits on Tuesday and a whole lot of things. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that plan your personal development such that every single day you get something out of the day in your journey to personal development. Every single day you get something out of the day. Oh, I have moved a bit. I don't do to do. And then when you are replying to this, you want to evaluate yourself. Okay, what have I done today? I read about 30 minutes. I read a book on leadership, 30 minutes. And then tomorrow I'll be practicing what I've learned. So you are able to evaluate it. Make sure you plan your personal development. Having said that, as volunteers now, it is quite important. It is quite important for us to, like I said, plan ourselves very, very well. Make sure you plan yourself very well, and then make sure you are developing. Make sure you are developing. Make sure you are developing. It is quite important for you. So our goal is that every of our volunteers continue to grow. That is why we are having this training. So make sure you see yourself in this and then become a better version of yourself. During even and after your stay. So personal development is key to your relevance, to your significance, to your effectiveness, to your efficiency, and to your becoming the person of your people. Make sure you are developing yourself as a person. To your growth, I say cheers.